What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and I wanted to go into our London game for the week. Jaguars play the Bills. Essentially, Bills at Jags, since, again, the Jags are going to probably be in London permanently, or at least the team representing London within 2 years. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to win every game, and actually, I was going to take the Jaguars to win this game, but I decided on the cover. I do think they will cover. I think it's going to be your typical 3-point game. We might see overtime, and we might see a game-winning field goal, simply because they're really trying to appeal to the London market. And normally I would say I still lean Jaguars for the win because Lawrence already lost to Mahomes. I feel like he needs to at least establish himself, especially, again, they're trying to establish him in London. It'd be important for him to at least hold his own against Josh Allen. Now, he could play a better game and lose by 3, or have a nice drive at the end, but they miss a field goal, something like that. So I just like the cover a lot more. If you want to play the win, that's fine. The reason I like the cover is right here, as you see, one of the higher selling merchandise athletes in, or at least for football in London, is Josh Allen. So he's got a nice little fan base of his own. So I don't think he's going to come out and lay an egg. Again, Jacksonville could definitely win. I'm leaning on them for the win. The official play is the cover. It's going to be a leg one for the Jags to cover the 5.5. And again, there's nothing crazy about it. I just think this one screams of a close game, a 3-point game. Certainly could be a 4-point game, but I don't think it's going to be a touchdown victory for either team. But again, if you really want to pick a winner, I would lean with the Jags. I think it's a good upset. I think the way teams have been presented this year, nobody's really going to be. I mean, you'll have people on the Jags, but you're going to have more people, I think, taking Buffalo, even with the spread. Probably putting them in a parlay to try and boost the parlay because they feel like it's not a lock, but it's a very safe bet. And I think that's why Jacksonville cover makes sense. Now, I wanted to go into one thing. It was brought to my attention, as you know, when I picked college games and all games, but college right now is at the point where we can start. It's at the sweet spot. I fade teams that are undefeated against the spread. I take teams that are winless against the spread. It was brought to my attention that my Oklahoma beats Texas pick. Oklahoma is actually the one who's undefeated against the spread, and Texas is like about even against the spread. So typically off the spread, I would have Texas to win this game, or at least to cover this game. Now, for 2 reasons, I decided to roll. We're going to roll with the Sooners. The first one is more unconventional. Like Nick Wright on First Things First, I very much believe in the gambling gods, and I think they get mad when you don't trust your, even if it's a happy mistake, or an accidental intuitive move, going against your first option. And a couple times this year, I had a pick, and then I thought it over it, and then I said, let me clarify. We changed that pick, and we lost as a result. So, yeah, we're going to stick with Oklahoma. It's only a leg 2. Of course, we want to hit anyone, but if the gambling gods do forsake us, we have a leg 3 to work off of. Now, the other reason, and the more rational reason that I'm sticking with Oklahoma, is we have a lot of smart people on Discord and people on YouTube, all basically telling me the same thing. More money is going to be on Texas, or they've seen from their sources that more money is on Texas. And I'm not sure about the sources themselves. I did think more money would be on Texas myself. I was really just going with the metric. But since enough people on the Discord like it, and since I accidentally did it, and again, whenever I seem to pick something and then say, you know what, I'm going with the other one, it backfires. We are going to just stick with the Sooners there. So I wanted to clarify for anybody that knows my system, and thank you for the few that brought it to my attention, because yes, I exclusively do that. I do fade teams. Now, again, every single week, they're not all going to drop on the same week. So of them all, Oklahoma still seems like a good money value to play. So that's why I rolled with them. But I do appreciate you bringing it to my attention. You can imagine I do tennis and stuff as well. By the way, I think Coco is a very safe play. She plays around 1 in the morning. getting about 1.5 to 1. They're really pitching her as the new Serena 2.0. And they really started it in the open out of nowhere. Somebody on my Discord brought it up, like, oh, I didn't realize Coco was that good. And I'm like, well, she's not. Like, she was a 10 to 20th ranked player. All of a sudden, they started comparing her to Serena, giving her some deals. And Jimmy Butler comes out, says he's a fan. And then she's just considered like the best player in the world. But she's ranked 3, playing ranked 2, so it makes sense she'd be an underdog. And yeah, I think it's going to be her and Rybakina. So to me, Samsonova's got far enough. She's spoiled enough. I actually had her beating. I didn't do a video on it. I split yesterday, but I actually had her beating Sabalenka because the line made no sense at all. Sabalenka barely being a favorite. Now, Rybakina is not, she's not ranked as high, but I have a feeling Rybakina is going to do it, and we'll get her against Coco. And again, I think they're trying to really show Coco is not only the new Serena, but the new just American in general. On the guys' end, you have like 6 guys. You got Eubanks, you got Tommy Paul, you got Shelton, you got there's a few others I am missing, but a bunch of good players. I guess Isner just retired, but there's really no one taking the crown. So I think they want Coco to be the one who has that. So China Open's pretty big. I went into this in my last video. Serena Williams won the first one. And again, with all the comparisons, it was 19 years ago. Coco's 19 years old, if you're into the gematria. But just for a bunch of reasons, I like Coco a lot. So I think she's going to definitely get to the finals. So you're getting plus odds to get there. And she'll be a favorite in the finals because whether she's going against Rybakina or Samsonova, hopefully Rybakina wins because then we'll get better odds on Coco. But yeah, I think either way she's going to get there, and I think she's going to win it. So I just wanted to go into that again while I was covering this. But yeah, my official pick is the Jags cover the 5.5. And as I said, if you really wanted to pick a money line, I would go with the Jags, not just because of the value, but because people are going to be so sold on the Bills after they just beat the Dolphins down. The Jags barely beat the Falcons. There's nothing telling me that even with 5.5, usually this would be like a 3-4 point spread with the Jags essentially being at home. But I think because of the pounding they put on Miami, there's probably a lot of money going into Buffalo. I didn't look at the opening. I bet you this opened around 4. Now, I might be dead wrong, but it just seems like an odd number. And typically, again, it'd be accurate. But I think because of the beatdown of Miami, Jacksonville, they're basically telling everyone that Lawrence is going to have a big game because he's yet to have a big game yet. And I don't think you could push a guy. So unless they're just not going to push him, he has to come through, I feel like, and have his, whether it's a 3-touchdown game, 300-yard game, or just a really impressive game-winning drive, no interceptions in the game, something of that nature. So I like the Jags here for the cover. Again, it's going to be a leg 1. We're running a good bit of leg 2s, and we're running a leg 3 with LSU, the under. And for some, probably for, I like the Falcons game. There's a few other games I like. Looking at the Steelers game. So I'm looking at the Vikings. I'll probably have a couple more leg 2s coming. Maybe another leg 3. I don't even know if we have any open leg 3s. I go into it like every video, but I think we closed most of our sequences that were heading to a leg 3. So that's another good thing is we're not dealing with a bunch of sequences we have to close. We can run most of these as leg 1s. So thanks again for everyone that brought up the spread discrepancy that I messed up with in the Discord, on YouTube and in Discord. I am going to stick, like I said, with Oklahoma on the money line because of the reasons I stated. So take care and happy earnings.